been a
Right
little
on.
bit since I've seen it. When was the last time you saw it?
It's been a couple of years.
Couple. I can't go 1 year without watching it.
Really?
No.
Now, yeah, I haven't seen it in a couple of years. I think that's one of the reasons why I liked your channel when I first started watching, is because I think that it's probably the best action movie made as well.
Oh yeah. See, I think it's just the best movie in general, not just action.
Down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So good. Have you seen the remastered version?
No.
Oh. Okay, so with that,
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
That came out in 2017. They brought it back to theaters for a little bit, and I went there with my kids, and I'm watching it, and I started to notice that there were things that were fixed from the original, and that's the remastered. That's what they did. Like the scene where Arnold jumps off that big he's jumping down into the where the T-1000 is chasing the kid in the truck.
Yeah.
And he jumps down. Well, in the motorcycle. In the theatrical version, you could tell that wasn't Arnold. I mean, the guy looked close, but you could tell it was a stunt guy. It was obvious that it was not Arnold. Well, they took Arnold's face and put it on this guy. Little things like that, to just fix these little problems. And the scene at the end where he removes his arm and he gets up, in the theatrical version, it took me years before I noticed this, but in the theatrical version, you could see his real arm was in a sock, because it was supposed to be cut, and it was supposed to be behind him, but it had slipped out of place, and you could see his real arm just hanging right in front of your face.
Really?
Yeah, so they removed that, little things like that they couldn't easily fix back in the day. So I thought that was pretty exciting.
Now, can you buy that version?
Yes. It came out on DVD, like Blu-ray DVD. This is the one.
Nice. No, I don't think I've seen it, no.
Yeah, well, it just it takes what I feel like was an already almost perfect movie and makes it perfect, in my opinion. Yeah, little things like that. So
I need to get up to speed. I need to get up to speed then.
Yeah, and something I recently found out is that there are multiple extended versions. So there's one that there's a scene at the end that shows Sarah Connor sitting on a park bench in a park, and she's looking out at the park and everything's fine. Humanity is good. And she's watching her son, John, adult John, playing with his child. And it was an awful scene. It was terrible. It was so bad because the makeup job on her was terrible. And it just felt so goofy, just the addition of that scene. So there's an extended version that includes that scene at the end. I don't like that one. I like the one where it cuts it right off, where the theatrical version did, where, it shows like a scene of a view of a highway at night. That was how the theatrical version ended. So that one's the best, in my opinion.
Nice. So are we going to watch, which one are we going to watch? The extended cut.
The extended, but not the one that has that scene at the end, that terrible scene. So this one might be referred to as the special edition. In some of the different extended versions, they had some things that they included, like maybe a scene where the T-1000 is in he's in some room somewhere, I can't remember, and he's running his hands over stuff, trying to get a feel for things. In some of the versions, they have that, and others they don't. So I don't care what they include in the middle of the movie. I just don't like that one scene at the end. So that's why I picked the one without that. It's so terrible. So there's like all these little bits of trivia that I think about when I watch the movie, because I've watched it so many times, and I've listened to the commentaries, that James Cameron talked about, like how they did certain things that they filmed. The scene in the bar where the guy comes up behind the Terminator and hits him with the pool stick. James Cameron was saying how to film that scene, they had put some sort of like a beam or something, a metal rod or something behind Arnold's back and down his, like from his head, I guess, down to his back. So when the guy hit him with the pool stick, he was really hitting that beam in the back of his neck. But to me, that's pretty close, you know? He could have actually smacked him in the head.
The commentary is so awesome.
Oh, I love commentary. I like behind the scenes stuff like that. How they film certain things, what was going on at the time. There's a scene that shows up in the extended version where it shows Sarah Connor. She's in a dream state, and Kyle Reese comes to her and talks to her. And I remember that picture showed up in different magazines and stuff, you know, when they were filming the movie. But then when I watched the movie, it never happened. Well, that was just one of the scenes they cut off. But that particular day that they filmed that scene was the same day the Gulf War started. James Cameron was saying that. You know, 1991, early 91, I think, was when they had filmed that particular scene. So just little interesting details, and her twin sister being in different scenes, playing Sarah Connor. When Arnold goes into the bar, there's a girl standing by the jukebox. She happens to be the stunt person who pretended to be John Connor on the dirt bike. You know, just like little things like that. It's so cool. So I really like.
Not the waitress that goes, oh.
No, not her, because she was a little bit chunky. It was the girl by the jukebox, and she's tiny. She's little, and so she would be, you know, perfect frame for an adolescent or however old he was supposed to be, a young kid. The timeline on T2 is a little off, because in the timeline, if it's really supposed to be 91, he's supposed to be less than 10 years old. So that doesn't really fit, because he's obviously older than 10 in the movie.
Wonder how old was he in the movie?
He was, when they started filming the movie, when they were filming the movie, he was going through puberty. So he was like maybe 12.
Yeah, probably
around there, I think. And they were saying how that when he was filming certain scenes, his voice would mess up. And so he would have to come back in later and dub some of those lines because his voice would crack.
You wouldn't believe, my voice cracked in school for like a couple years.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Like you had the one really bad year, but then like the second year it would do it sometimes. Like I just remember it cracked. It got less and less, but it did it a lot longer than most.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It was protracted for you then, wasn't it?
I was the laughing stock each time. It would. Everyone would crack. I didn't care, but you know, at that age, it's a little bit different, you know.
Yeah, it's a little. You don't have quite as much of a thick skin at that age. A little harder. That's funny.
Yep.
So there's a feature on here that I just found out about called like where you can share the actual video file, but the problem is the video file is not in a format that I can share. So whenever I start it, I'm just going to do a share my screen. And so it'll pop up, it'll cover up a good portion. And then you and I will be bumped off to the side here. So, you know, the movie will take up the majority of the screen, and hopefully there won't be any laggy issues or anything like that. That's why I hope nothing will go wrong.
So my dad told me yesterday that my nieces and nephews were coming over this weekend. So I got a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old upstairs.
Oh boy.
and we just got done watching cartoons. We were watching cartoons this morning or up until an hour ago. And so they're playing upstairs, and I got my bedroom door shut, but when they come downstairs, you can tell, hopefully.
See, I mean, I'm going to have interruptions too. I get these notifications. I need to turn my volume down.
So I'm assuming it'll be like when you guys were doing an episode of Steins Gate, how your pictures were on the side of the screen, and then the Steins Gate was the rest of the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. now.
Are you gonna make a video of this? Because I didn't put my makeup on.
Yes, I'm recording it right now, actually.
I don't mind of it.
Okay. So
That was a joke.
Yeah, I am recording it. How are you doing, Colin?
I'm good. I just caught the email. I was thinking, I forgot you're on the East Coast. I thought I had an hour, so I'm glad I just checked it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're well, what time zone are you in?
Midwest. I'm in Missouri.
Oh, Central?
Yeah, Central.
Oh, okay, yeah. In our audiobook company, we've got people in all sorts of different time zones, and let me tell you, it's a headache trying to make sure everybody remembers that when we throw out a time, we're typically talking about Eastern. Yeah. I had asked Glenn when was the last time he saw the movie, and I'm going to ask you that as well.
I don't even know. It's been years. I know I've seen it a few times, quite a few times back in the day. I just used to watch movies a lot more when I was my 20s and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was one, I watched a few times, but it's just been a while. I'm kind of starting to get in the mood to watch movies again. So.
It's such a nice escape, isn't it?
Yeah. And T2 is a classic. I'll always like T2.
Oh my gosh, T2 is just like, it's perfection. And I was telling Glenn that with the one that I'm playing, it's the remastered version where they did some digital fixes.
Yeah.
And just made it anything that was a little bit wrong with the first one with regard to things they couldn't fix at the time, they have fixed it now. And I love it. It's so perfect.
Nice.
But go ahead.
I was just too young. I was like 6 or 7 when it came out. So I remember being like aware that it was like a grown up thing. But I was thinking about
violent.
I was thinking about that the other day, thinking about this movie where I remember being like 7 or 8 and they had commercials for like Schwarzenegger toys and, Terminator toys. And the kids would be like, hasta la vista, I'll be back. And I was like, how did they get to see the movie? Like,
it's extremely violent.
Right. Yeah.
I remember when we had it on VHS, I wanted my brothers to be able to see it. So I took it and I copied it to another one, and I would take out some of the violent parts, like the part where she stabs the guy, in the head. I was cutting out all sorts of stuff. It was terrible and it was awfully clunky, but it was like that was the only way I could let my brothers see it.
Because they're little, they're younger.
They were. Oh yeah, my brothers are about 10 years younger than me.
Oh wow. Okay.
So they were quite young, but that was. I remember when the movie came out and how much. I don't know. I just have a lot of nostalgia about this dang film. I love it so much. It's not even funny. Okay, well, I'm gonna press play. If either of you guys want to jump in and say something or ask me to pause it or whatever, that's fine. If you want to talk over what's happening, that's fine too. I don't mind because that's kind of part of it. We can talk over things as they're happening, so I don't have to pause every time.
Yeah, I'll try to not babble on.
Oh, it's okay. I honestly don't mind because I might end up doing it myself.
All right, that's cool. Was any of that new?
I don't think much of that was. If it was just little tiny parts.
I forgot about the Jeep.
Human resistance.
Oh, yeah. No, that was in the theatrical version.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pause this. Okay, Aaron has just joined us.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear us all right?
Yes.
Okay. We went ahead and started because it's almost 7 now. So we're at the opening credits. And hopefully you can hear it okay. Oh, speaking of John Connor, the guy who played John Connor in here, the adult John Connor, I saw a fan film called Skynet the other day. I recorded it. I haven't put it up yet. But John Connor is in there, right? It's this same dude who played him in this movie.
Wow. Nice.
I didn't know it at the time. I didn't find out until today. So I was like, man, I wish I had known that, but I didn't. So.
Man, I was just thinking how the scene of the future we just saw is so cool, and it makes you want to see that movie of the future. And I feel like they kept trying to do that in the sequels, and they never made it as cool as that scene right there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was because it was James Cameron or what, the tone of the movie, but
James Cameron. Salvation has grown on me though. a bit.
Yeah, that was the closest one.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I wanted to let it.
It's probably my favorite sequel. Aaron, I have a question.
Yes.
You have earbuds in?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, because they must be microphones too. It's picking up all your background noise.
Yeah, let me. Can I mute my mic?
Yeah, there you go. But if you want to say something, turn it on and say something.
Yeah, I'm at a mall right now, so I'm being.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope your internet holds up. But anytime you want to jump in and say something, just go ahead. Even if the movie's playing, you can interrupt. So, all right, I'm going to proceed. Here we go. I love this music. It's so awesome. It gives me chills. I mean, it literally gives me chills, this music. This scene is equal parts beautiful and terrifying. Isn't that weird? I mean, it's just...
Yeah. Maybe more terrifying.
More terrifying for sure, but there's something about the flames and the slow motion, how it's moving, and all the... Yeah. Plus the music.
It's true, yeah.
This girl, Glenn, right by the jukebox, she's the one I was telling you about.
Okay.
I was telling Glenn that she's the one that did the stunt work pretending to be John Connor on the motorbike. Yeah.
I love that part.
And it was like looking at one of the girls that was saying inappropriate or something like, no, that was Terminator 3, I think. Terminator 3.
I need your clothes, your boots.
I think next time we do anything like this, I'm going to try to take the file and convert it to something where StreamYard will let me just directly share the video file. Then that might cut down on issues like this.
Nice.
Yep.
This is perfect. Like the music and everything. Guy's still over there on the hood of the car. When he threw out the window.
Is this like a digitally remastered version?
Yeah.
Get off before
He's so cool.
I forgot he's a good guy this time.
You forgot?
No, just in the opening scene, I'm like...
Because you wonder. So you weren't supposed to know, but it did. They tried to keep it a secret, but it did end up leaking out that he's actually good in this one. And they intentionally tried to keep it so you don't know yet. Because when he comes up behind him and does what he does, you don't know that he'd actually killed the guy. You just think he knocked him out or something.
Oh, they said he was 10.
Yeah, see... He looks a little bit too old for 10, but he's supposed to be 10. But if this really takes place in 91, he's not 10. So I guess it's supposed to be 94, maybe it takes place. 94, 95, around there.
That said Pescadero State Hospital. It's like fish. It's a fish market.
Yeah, I know, right? They actually filmed this at, I think, maybe a closed down Betty Ford clinic or something like that.
How's the knee?
Fine, Sarah. She stabbed me in the kneecap. Repeated escape attempts.
I don't know if you remember, but he was in the first movie. He was the one who was talking to Kyle Reese.
Like to see the patients disrupting their rooms like this.
Yep.
I don't remember that.
And then he also showed up in Terminator 3.
Really?
Yeah, and he was a little bit crazy because, not crazy, but like he was a little bit traumatized still by what happened in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Time to take your meds, Connor.
This was
You
not
know
in
you
the
gotta be
theatrical
good to
version.
see
This
up
is
for
an
you
extra
this
clip
I'm
here.
not taking it.
Oh,
Yeah.
people didn't want to see that.
I guess not. Plus, I guess he felt like it wasn't necessary because there's other stuff that's in here that kind of alludes to the fact that she was mistreated.
Yeah.
Bike this morning, so you could be anywhere.
Do you have a photograph of John?
Those are the days. 10 years old.
I know.
Just need to ask him a few questions.
This actress here has played in multiple James Cameron movies. She played in Titanic and also Aliens.
I wouldn't worry about him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Your cooperation.
What's that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now.
I can't remember the name of the character she played in Aliens, but she was the real tough soldier girl.
That's what I'm trying to. That wasn't Velasquez, was it?
Yeah. That's her.
That was Velasquez?
Yes.
Like long hair?
Yep.
Oh.
And she had a bit part in Titanic as well. Shows her when the ship was going down, I think.
Velasquez is like my favorite character in that movie. He's
Yeah,
so cool.
that's her.
I'm gonna rewatch that later. Cool.
It'll show her again. She shows up again later.
Come on.
Oh, were you talking about Aliens that you were going to rewatch?
Piece of cake.
Oh no, I just want to see her with long hair. I couldn't.
Oh, she comes around again.
That's so cool. I mean, Ripley was cool too, but I thought Velasquez.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she was tough.
She's a complete psycho. Let's go spend some money.
And obviously that photograph that he was looking at was from at the end of the first movie when her picture was taken when she was on her way down into Mexico. How's the playback for you guys? Do you need me to stop it and jump back a little bit, see if it fixes?
It's weird. It's like sometimes in sync and sometimes out of sync, but it's watchable.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll try to figure out a better way to do this next time. I'll do video file sharing. So I've paused it. I'm going to jump back just a skosh and see if that helps a little bit. Now, this scene coming up is also one that was not in the theatrical version.
Okay.
She's like a dream sequence, and Kyle Reese appears to her.
You guys see him in Michael Biehn. He was in Mandalorian's last season.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. He was in like, what, one episode?
He's in one episode. I didn't even recognize him because he looked a little older.
Yeah, he's changed quite a bit.
Oh, this part.
Yeah, well, this is, they show another scene very similar to this later on, but this was the first time this particular part was shown. But like I said, not in the theatrical version.
Okay.
Is she dreaming right here?
Yeah, it's because those drugs they gave her kind of conked her out, so she's having this crazy dream. Well, almost like a premonition.
So you don't believe anymore that the company covered it up?
No. Why would they?
So at the end of the first movie, the factory, I don't know if I'd said this to you guys directly. I have mentioned it in some of my videos before, I thought. The factory where the final battle took place, they cut out this scene where the camera pans up to where you see the name of it, and it was Cyberdyne.
Oh.
Was that factory.
He's running out of these.
That's how they.
Isn't that great? I don't know why they cut that out.
That happened.
Find it out. Okay, come on.
So it was like this crazy circle, you know?
Listen, Mr. Dyson,
Yeah, like it's
I was
time loop.
wondering if
Yep.
you could tell me. I mean, if you know. Know what?
Yeah, that's such a cool. Not like I don't know if a twist, but that's such a cool plot element.
Well, it's like
Well, Sarah.
it wouldn't have happened if, like, they're the ones that created the Terminators because they found the Terminator parts.
Right. It's so weird.
It's
Yeah.
so crazy.
I don't think you really believe what you're telling me.
That would be like the ultimate souvenir if you could buy one of those hands to have in your room, you know?
Right? Put it right up here.
Yeah, that would be killer. I'd buy
It
one.
would be awesome.
LA River.
What's that?
I don't know if that's exactly it, but the LA River.
Oh, that's the name of the song?
No, I mean where parts of this movie is. I like that finale.
Oh, okay.
They call it the LA River, but it's so often there's no water in it. But it's an artificial waterway.
Okay.
And that's where a lot. I don't know if that's exactly it, but there's all the truck chasing he does in that canal. I'm pretty sure that's the LA River.
Okay. He's walking around with roses. It was a perfect disguise.
Oh yeah.
for that gun. It just doesn't fit his look, though. Kind of stands out.
And how he doesn't take the gun out of the box. He just starts firing, and the roses all floor.
He like takes it out and starts firing sort of at the same time.
Yeah.
As he reaches in and because then the roses fall to the ground. He steps on the roses. Okay, he does completely take it out before he starts firing.
Okay, my bad.
I misremembered too a little bit.
Must be another movie where that happens because I feel like I've seen that.
I don't know. Not sure. I remember noticing in the scene when they start fighting, there's no sound. You know, because they're not human, so they don't make any sort of human fighting sounds. And it was just so weird to watch how they would slam each other around. No noise at all.
That's good direction. Like, probably made them be quiet.
Yeah. It's just kind of a little eerie, you know? And then that's a little foreshadowing there when the T-1000 looks at that mannequin. And this guy here taking the picture, he was in the first Terminator. He was the cop that Arnold busted his head against the roof of the cop car. Or the door or something.
This is one of the best parts in the whole movie.
I know. The music. I mean, it just like builds and builds and builds. It's perfect.
Yeah, the music really is great.
Oh, yeah.
Right around the time, like, the 80s music was so often cheesy. Like, even if it wasn't, there would just be a little bit of cheesiness with it. Something about the synths or something to me just felt a little maybe dated. This music doesn't seem cheesy at all.
It holds up really well. Here he comes.
Watch out now. Watch out.
That part right there is just so awesome.
Oh, man.
Practical effects are just so much better than CGI.
Oh, yeah. And James Cameron was just so good at how he planned it all out and choreographed everything. He's a true artist.
You know, in '91, I was 12 years old, and I had a red Yamaha just like that.
Oh,
Nice.
like that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I never had one of those. I rode my bike all the time, though.
Like the sharp, stabby sounds of the music. It's kind of sort of representative of his sharp, stabby spear hands. The T-1000.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
There's so much symbolism in little things here. And I love how he cocks the gun. They made that gun special so he could cock it like that.
It's real cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah. And I love this, like, just little scenes like that. So instead of the vehicle just automatically exploding, it shows the gas, it shows the little thing and the spark, and then it was just all these nice little touches to it.
Now, don't take this the wrong way. To our Terminator, right?
Yes. Sabadan Systems Model 101.
No.
Where it dawns on him what's going on.
Yeah, finally. Poking him all over.
Arnold's accent's just perfect for this role, too.
So this other guy, he's a Terminator like you, right?
It's what?
Like me. A T-1000.
His accent's just perfect for the role.
Yeah,
You
It
mean
is.
it is.
Yes. And me mendic poly alloy.